This is an Unsolicited Perspectives YouTube exclusive.
Okay, Jay, a continuation of what we were talking about on the podcast. Things done changed.
Things have changed.
So this is all for the ladies and gentlemen that didn't listen to the podcast, but also listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
Listen and watch the podcast, right? This is coming from an article from BuzzFeed titled "My Adult Children Don't Believe Me: 26 Normal Practices and Routines from the Past that have Gen Zers confused." These are what the parents are saying. Mm-hmm. My 20-year-old son liked hearing this one. When driving in unfamiliar territory, you had to get directions by either stopping at a gas station and asking an attendant or buying a map / atlas.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yes.
If you got lost back in the day, your ass was lost.
We were all minor cartography experts because you had to get a map. You had to learn how to, it's a map maker. You had to learn how to
yeah, because you just throwing out SAT words. I was like,
we had to read a map. You got the numbers across the top, letters across the side. Okay, where am I? I'm essentially at 2F. I need to get down here. Okay, I can make this and then if the attendant, they have to give you the directions in a manner that you understand. Sometimes it's, you can make a left on Wichita Street and a right on Main Street. And sometimes if you see the blue house, you done went too far. Make a U-turn, go back. You see a McDonald's on your left. On your left, not the McDonald's on your right, the one on your left. Turn when you get, it's got to be in directions you can understand, because you'll get back in the car and be like, I don't know where the hell we going.
Oh, that happened to me. There were so many times that I would get directions from a gas station attendant. They would talk so fast, I wouldn't process it. Mm-hmm. I would get in the car. If I was by myself or I was with friends or a girlfriend or something like that, and they were like, do you know how to get there? No, I really don't. We got to go drive to the next gas station. Yeah. Why don't you just go back in there and ask? No, they said that too confidently, and I didn't pick up on any of it. We need to ask somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we first moved to DC, I turned 16, so I first started driving. Mm-hmm. Moving from Lynchburg, where I lived for 7 years of my life.
Yeah.
6-7 years of my life. I kind of knew the town, so it wasn't that hard to maneuver around. Yeah. Moving to this DMV metropolitan area and traveling throughout multiple counties, because DC and Maryland and one area is so connected. You can travel from a part of Maryland to a part of Virginia that's only an hour apart, but it's completely different worlds.
Yes.
They used to have these maps that were divided up into counties, and you would say, okay, what city am I going to?
Right.
You're like, I'm going to this city. And in that city, it would have a specific map, and you had to be like, okay, so I'm going in this part of the city. This is where the mall is. Yeah. So they had you said a J5. I had to go J5 from my house. And it was like, okay, I'm going to take a right on the street. Wait a minute, is that a right or a left? Okay, I guess it's going to be a left, because you had to understand how to read maps. Yes. And somebody like me who has a problem in geometry, reading a map was extremely difficult. But you didn't know where you was going.
Geometry or geography? I feel
both.
Both. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Geometry, when you're looking at something, geometry, space and shapes and things of that nature.
No, I got where you were going. Yeah, but I also had a problem with geography. I'm looking for the little arrow. Which way is north?
That too. I'm thinking north is up.
Right.
North is not up.
It's
not up.
Not necessarily. So
right. Like you look at this north. I didn't know those streets is in the sky. The streets ain't in the sky.
No. So it was a lot to reading a map, but you had to use a map. There was no GPS.
Here's another one. We already talked about the smoking thing. Smoking was allowed everywhere. Mm-hmm. My boss blew my young coworker's mind the other day when she explained that there is a special kind of black paper that you could put between two regular pieces of paper. And when you write on the top page, it also shows up on the bottom page.
Yes, carbon paper.
Yes. And you're like, why would you do that? To make copies.
To make copies, yes. to duplicate something.
Why wouldn't you just use the copying machine? Copy machines were not prevalent at
No.
a certain point in time.
You had to, if you needed something in duplicate, it needed to be 2 copies of it with that carbon paper in the middle. And of course, the bottom copy was rarely legible, but sometimes it would be all right. If you pressed hard enough, it would copy onto the bottom. But yeah, that's how you made copies. So I could get a copy and you can have a copy.
We were taking notes for a class before a copying machine, before computers. This is what you need to do to copy.
You had to use carbon paper. Yes.
All right, the last thing, and speaking, because carbon paper, I think I equate to school.
Mm-hmm.
So this last one is going to be bananas to kids out there.
Okay.
If you misbehaved in school, the teacher could and would dish out some corporal punishment. I had a couple of teachers who absolutely loved punishing kids with those big wooden paddles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just at the end of this generation, but I went to an elementary school in Illinois.
Yeah.
Where the principal would whoop kids.
Yeah. And I'm thankfully aged out of that, because you would have had a hell of a time trying to whoop me in class.
First of all, this is funny. Vitor, our father would try to whoop you, and it was more of a workout for you just to stand still. Yeah. I think you've been whooped like twice in your life.
Yeah, probably like that. Yeah.
And it's one lash each, because that's all Dad could get off. He'd be sweating, not because he's whooping you so hard, just to get you in position.
Yeah, because I would fall out. I would just, the theatrics.
Fallout is basically where you just fall to the ground and
I'm rolling around, crying. I'm hysterical.
Before
and nothing has even happened. Nothing has even happened. But the dramatics, because I knew it was gonna hurt, and I did not want it to happen. So you telling me I did all of that for my own parents? You telling me some rando is gonna try to take a paddle and be? No, you not. Case in point, I'm 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. I gotta go for my immunizations. Our mother had prepped me to get my shots in my arm. We get to the doctor's office. The doctor say, no, we give the shots in the back of the thigh. Basically, we give you the shot in your butt.
All right.
It took the doctor and 3 nurses to hold me down. I fought like hell. And our mother just sat there with her arms crossed, shaking her head, because she was like, I told y'all, I prepped her for it in her arm. You need to give it to her in her arm. She was ready. If y'all want to give it to her in her butt, you gonna have to get her under control. And it took 4 adult humans to hold down a 5-year-old child, because I was fighting like hell. So if you think you was gonna paddle my ass, you got another thing coming.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was a YouTube exclusive.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.